Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune in to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Alright, welcome in to the Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, YouTube channel, wherever you're tuning in on. It is the Woodward Night Show with Booner and Broder. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Right now we have the Pistons game on here. We've actually got over here a whole crew of people. I see Kool-Aid, Easy, Chris Platty, Lucas Klotz all over there right now eating some pizza, watching the Pistons games, hanging out. It's like a little watch party over there. You guys might hear them screaming a little bit as the show goes on. My name is Booner. Broder, as always,
hey,
co-host, the beautiful Matt Broder, Detroit Lions beat reporter.
That's me. Thank you.
I thought for a second,
beautiful.
You're beautiful.
Thank you.
I think we're all beautiful. Everyone's
so kind.
beautiful.
What kind co-host?
Kind today. Kind today. Yes, sir, baby. Let's go. We got Jaylen in the TD booth. As always, he's in the full Michigan gear too, by the way. Shout out to that.
Can I show him?
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, you know, I'm locked in. Y'all see it?
Michigan
Jumpman.
Y'all see the Jumpman too. This is not 2010. This is 2020 and up. Jumpman series.
I want to check something real quick. Big Ten. Let's see something.
You taking a shot at my Adidas gear from way back when?
Yeah, man. I'm certified, man.
That's the fit he's going to wear. He's going to Indiana at Penn State on Saturday at 12 o'clock. That is where he's going with that outfit.
Gotcha.
He's going to go spy and film games. We've got Nick in very awesome jacket he has on there for the Pistons game today.
Yes,
look at that.
sir.
Let's go, baby!
Hey, how about we cut some of these turnovers? Come on, boys. I know it's the first game, but we're not going to go very far with 10 turnovers first quarter.
They have 10 turnovers already?
I don't know. That's what it seems like. Come on, boys. Got to play a little smarter. Let's start 1-0.
Hey, great breakdown.
And let's win the night. Woodward Nights, baby.
Takeaways,
Yeah,
baby. It's all about the turnover battle.
They do have 7 turnovers right now, I believe. So that's tough. But appreciate you guys all tuning in. Hit that like button if you haven't already. We have a packed show for you guys.
Packed.
Very packed show. There's a lot of segments that we do have. Some Lions stuff that's very, very interesting to me. Trade deadline. Some stuff came out during the heavyweights. Excuse me. We just had pizza, and it just hit me. Montez Sweat is available.
Papa Molly, I'm sweating.
For maybe a second or a third. We're going to talk about that later in the show. We're going to talk about a few things, though. Stephen A. Smith, you guys probably saw on a different show. He kind of came out about the Detroit Lions. He's flip-flopping, hopping off the bandwagon, hopping on, hopping off. We're going to talk about that. 8:15, Broder's going to tell us a little bit about no injury news from today, but we're going to talk about it. There was no injury news. That kind of I don't know if it's like worrisome or not.
These days, we'll take no news over injury news.
That's true.
Usually, the injury news has been pretty bad.
Feels like they're hiding something from me.
No, it's just a bye week, so everything's just a little off.
Well, no, not a bye week.
Oh, you're a 8-day off week.
Yeah.
You got Monday Night Football, so it's just everything's all off. Everything's a day back. We're gonna have info tomorrow.
Okay, I like to hear
or
that.
more detailed info that we're not speculating.
Was there any press conferences today?
There was Hank Fraley, offensive line coach.
Great guy, by the way.
Yes, and Brian Duker, great coach, by the way. Brian Duker, the defensive backs coach.
Okay, sweet.
Yes.
We don't have anything on that, I don't think. Maybe we'll talk about it a little bit.
I can touch on him.
Okay, at 8:15 we'll do that, and then we're talking a little bit Raiders as well. 8:30 Stephen A. Smith. 8:45. Broder, just want to talk about the NFC North. Just wanted to talk about it. Are we scared? Is there any worries?
Winter is coming.
It is coming. 9 o'clock, as always, Booner. I just call myself Booner. I have a question to pose to you, Broder. I have another one. I'm 3 for 3 right now on questions bringing to the table. So I'll bring that at 9 o'clock. 9:15, we're going to talk about some weapons. Lucas actually made some posts today comparing the Detroit Lions weapons with others around the league. I thought that was interesting. 9:30, trade deadline stuff. 9:40, as soon as this Pistons game is over about 9:40, we're going to break the game down a little bit. And I do want to talk the Red Wings last night. We were going to talk about that actually right now. Let's kind of go to that, Broder.
That was so sad.
Brutal game. I was driving home from the show and kind of following it on my phone. And once they it was 3-1, brought it back to 3-3, take a 4-3 lead, and then literally last couple minutes they give a 4-4, and then overtime. 4 seconds left, I believe. I was driving listening to it on the radio. 4 seconds left.
It was actually a really fun
They
game
gave
to
up a
watch.
goal.
It just ended so bad. And there's those 2 penalties right at the end of the game. I think it was within 4 minutes of the game being over. One was Dylan Larkin with, about a minute 40 left where they ended up getting I believe it was a game-tying goal to put it into overtime. Yeah, it was a pretty soft call. I forget the exact call he did, but he stuck a stick like kind of in his little midsection, and they got him. They got the captain. He was the best penalty killer on that Red Wings team.
I wasn't able to watch, like I said, I was listening on the radio after the show here when we left, and on BDE they talked about it, and DMAC kind of brought it up that Seattle team's probably one of the fastest teams in the league.
They're
and
good.
It was a quick game, like a fast-paced game.
Eberle.
Which makes the fact that the Red Wings kept up with them because Gentry said it that this team looks way faster than last year. I like to hear that, to be honest.
Yeah. No, it is. Their defensemen are playing off like Gosta. Let me make sure I pronounce his name right. Gostis be here. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that
Fear.
right. Was it?
I think it's Fear.
Gostis Fear. He's scoring goals. He had 3 points, 1 goal, 2 assists. Dylan Larkin, I believe, did the same, a goal and 2 assists. DeBrincat had another power play goal.
He
That
did.
dude is staying at the top of the league. They're a fun team to watch. They're making me enjoy hockey even that much more.
It's just good when you're winning.
Yeah.
It feels good. The Red Wings are back. We had, I remember just growing up, there was that streak of like 17 straight playoff appearances, 18. I don't remember the exact streak, but just knowing like every year you have the Red Wings to count on. And then in 2015, that kind of ended, and that was right when I went to college, and it was like, okay, went away from the Red Wings a little bit, and now that they're back, it's like, okay, now we have something to cheer for throughout the winter, and obviously the Lions, but come in the spring, you're gonna have something hopefully to cheer for. Dude, this Red Wings team right now, I want to get an exact how many points they have. They have in what 7 games. They have 11 points. They're dominating right now.
Dylan Larkin speaking after the game, he was upset that they didn't get that second point. They got one by getting it to making it to overtime, but they're going for as high of a seed as possible, obviously. But they're upset.
Yeah.
Losing out on that one extra point, and that's the mentality I want to see out of a team ready to take that next step.
Fourth in the NHL, Broder.
Love that.
With 11 points, only behind Vegas, Boston, and Colorado. They're one of the hottest teams in the NHL right now. I don't know what to say. I did lose my bet last night. I had Larkin. I've been riding the Larkin shots on goal. If you do like Larkin 3 shots or 4 shots on goal, whatever you prefer, and then money line, that's been hitting like every single game. Right. And I did that, just lost. I know you had a big bet on it too, Nick.
Yeah, I had the DeBrincat goal and money line. I've been riding that one. It's been basically pretty much chalk, but the Raymond postage.
Oh yeah,
and that's how the overtime works.
Was it in overtime?
NHL. It was in overtime to win the game. Raymond hits the post, and then on the other side, they come right back down and score the goal. That's how hockey works in OT.
It does.
It's a game of inches, and Razor just missed it.
Well, I always feel like in hockey, like the NHL, watching the playoffs last year, any overtime game, it always feels like when you have that that kind of what do you go down to? Is it 3-on-3 you go down to? In OT, when you go down to that, it's like, hey, if you're on offense and you miss a shot and you don't get it, it's a disadvantage. It feels like every single time that happens, you're giving up a goal on the other side, and you just can't get away from it. So when I'm listening to it on the radio, I hear Raymond miss a shot. In my head, I don't know how much time was left. They didn't say it. All I could think was they're going to go win the game, and then it's just goal. And I was like, oh my gosh, goal. You could feel it coming. Next thing here, real quick, we got Michigan.
The weekend.
I put a graphic there. Jaylen, do you have the graphic? It was one of the last ones I put in. It's like a little paragraph there, and it starts with Stallions. It looks like a little, that. New news came out, and this is crazy, Broder. And I don't know if you want to read that. You're the reader on the show.
I can read it if you want me to. Stallions, now 28 years old, revealed that he was part of a small group of people, 2 of whom he said were at low-level positions on different college football coaching staffs, who were putting their heads together on long-term plan to run the Michigan football program. This is my first time reading this, by the way. Stallions claimed to have a Google document between 550 and 600 pages long that he managed daily, containing a blueprint for the Wolverines' future. He referred to the document as a movement more than a plan, dubbing it the Michigan Manifesto.
This, Broder, is crazy. I brought it up to you a little bit before the show, and I tried to explain it, but just reading that,
that's weird.
It's crazy. That Stallions is. I appreciate him serving. I don't want to take that. Kind of like a psycho, right?
I was about to say, is it bad that the first thing that comes to mind is this guy is a sociopath?
I think so. That's crazy.
he's 20 or he's young, maybe 30. He's young and he's making this plan to take over the Michigan football program. That adds a whole nother element to this. Again, we'll see what all comes out. I don't even know how to. This you told me this about 20 minutes ago, and it's the first time reading it. I got to look into this information.
Hey, if he loves Michigan that much, though, shout out to him.
Go blue, baby.
Yeah, go blue, because that's crazy. A manifesto, 600 pages. It makes me wonder, like, if he has that going on in the back end, like, what does Harbaugh actually know? Like,
it's hard to believe that Harbaugh doesn't know everything, but when you hear stuff like that, it's like maybe he doesn't. Like,
yeah.
But what we were talking about, what's so confusing to me is this guy's supposed to be a genius. He's a Marine. He's like renowned for his stealthiness. And these details that are coming out, he used his own name to buy the tickets. He's texting his friends, information about this. He's writing them. It doesn't seem so stealthy to me.
No, it makes me think that. I don't know. I'm. You know what? I'm kind of over this Michigan thing. I'm sure you feel the same way, Broder.
Yeah, I mean, we're the villains.
Yeah, and I'm kind of over it because at the end of the day,
it's
it's just go win a national championship, and then if something happens in the future and it comes out, okay. But at the end of what's crazy to me, before we go to the next thing, is that noise gets me every time. What's crazy to me is that a lot of people around college football are saying how bad of a thing this is, all of that. And then at the same time, in the same conversation, they'll be like, oh, well, 90% of college football does this anyways.
Yeah.
So it's okay, what are we talking about then? Why are you going at Michigan?
Yeah, it's tough because if they broke the rules, it's breaking the rules. But if it doesn't seem like anyone's cared. So it's just a weird balance of like, yeah, no, you can't break the rules, but nobody cares. Like when I was driving here on Woodward, it's 45. I was driving 49 miles per hour. I'm sure a lot of other people do. Like, everyone breaks the rules.
No, I don't. Well, yeah, but Woodward, like around here, man, they be hiding, dude. You gotta go real slow around here.
They're
man.
everywhere.
That's facts. I guess if you get caught, you have to pay a fine.
Every night when I leave here, I see like 4 police officers.
I think you just reconfigured that whole thought I had in my head, and now I take that one back.
I'm sorry.
No, that's good. It makes me sound. It sounded dumb.
Marcus
once I heard how it heard to you. So we're good.
He got that. I wonder what that call was. I didn't see. That was crazy.
Pistons. This is the opener.
It is. We've got the game here. I keep looking over here. If you guys see me looking this way, it's because the Pistons are on. I'm going to try and be a pro here, though, and keep looking at the camera.
Pro.
Next thing here, real quick, before we get into the next segment and go to commercial. I don't know if you guys saw, but about an hour before the show or hour and a half before the show, the NBA announced that they are bringing back the East versus West game, All-Star game. It is no longer the draft thing, all of that. I love this. And, Jaylen, do you want to throw that graphic up there? Every time I think of East-West, this is kind of the team I think.
It's so crazy you had this. I got this autographed picture in my room.
I think it's one of the best pictures ever. Look at that. Those 4 guys right there.
Oh,
that's what you want to see. The East versus West. The uniforms for it are better. Everything about a game versus East-West, whether who's better, it's just 10 times better having it this way.
I think they should go back like to the 01-02 joints where like you wear your team jersey.
Oh, so everyone's wearing it.
I think it's more like,
like
Record Park, like, open run type vibe. You know what I mean?
I guess you're right. I've been watching a lot of Jason Williams white chocolate highlights lately, and you see him in these All-Star games, and I forgot they're wearing their own uniforms.
Yeah, like it's like you're playing like for your team, strictly. You know what I mean?
I love Broder, bro. Just the fact that he just out of nowhere, like, I've been watching a lot of Jason Williams white chocolate highlights.
Dude, they're incredible.
Bro, you are awesome.
If you're a basketball fan, they're some of the best highlights of all time.
He was a dog.
I watch him like once a year.
What was that?
I watch it like once a year.
Yeah, you have to.
And every time it pops up on your timeline, you have to watch it.
You have
every single time.
Over it.
See?
Every time.
I'm excited for this, though. I think this is better. And we were talking about it a little bit. Kool-Aid mentioned before. This might be better for like a Cade. Because he could be one of the best guards in the East.
Oh, for sure.
Takes away a lot of guys from the West. Because the West is
well, Durant's drafting him because Durant's got that mad respect for Cade.
Yeah, but no more draft, though.
I know. But I'm saying, like, if it was the other way. Yeah, by the way, Freddie Felt 313 in the chat says, Broder, Booner, I'm going to the All-Star weekend in Indy.
Let's go.
Freddie.
So you get to see East versus West, Freddie. Mm-hmm. Let's go. That's
back, Freddie.
I'm happy they did that. It was out of nowhere. I did not hear any reports about that. And then just all of a sudden today they had made a couple announcements. That was one of the main ones, was East versus West is officially back.
Tyler's in here talking to you, Broder.
Back. What did you say?
Tyler's in here talking to you,
Tyler.
Man. Talking about that
People on the Kings was the best. He was sick. He was sick on Memphis, too. He didn't do it for me in Miami. He had some good plays.
He got a ring, though.
Yeah, he did get a ring. But him on that Kings team.
Yeah, Peja. I got a Peja jersey, Tyler. We could do a jersey trade one day, man.
He just throws those bounce passes like through everyone to Chris Webber is great.
Shout out. That Kings team was good. They were. Have you played with them on 2K?
I haven't played 2K in years.
That team is OD, man. Like, Peja's like a 99-3.
Yeah, 2K, that's a good team to have.
And Bibby, Bobby Jackson, Doug Christie, Peja, Vlade, Chris Webber. It's that team.
Gerald Wallace.
Gerald.
Wow.
Jerry.
Gerald Wallace, man.
Gerald. Also, the World Series started, the teams were finalized.
Friday.
Yeah.
Starts Friday.
I can't wait.
I'm excited.
Who you got, boys?
I'm gonna put a bet on the Diamondbacks.
Okay, who you got, Broder?
I think the Rangers are gonna win, but I'm rooting for the Diamondbacks.
Nick?
Yeah, D-backs.
I'm right there with Broder. I think the Rangers are gonna win, but I want the Diamondbacks too.
Well,
I'll take the underdogs.
I'm gonna go with the Rangers because I had 2 bets in, and my personal team lost, but my other bet teams.
Phillies.
I'm going with Mad Max too. You know, Max Scherzer. Like, give him another one.
Another one.
I like this Diamondback story. Some of those boys here, they beat the Phillies. They didn't just beat the Phillies. They beat the Dodgers before.
They beat everybody.
Milwaukee. They dominated everyone. So that's why I'm like. Last night I was thinking about it. I was like, all right, I think the Rangers will win, but I'm gonna go Diamondbacks. I'm gonna bet on the Diamondbacks. They're like plus 190 or something. So I was like, why not?
Yes.
Why not go the Diamondbacks?
It's just me with the Rangers this time.
Yeah, I think it's
Rangers. That's a good pick.
I think it is. It is a good pick.
I like the D-backs. They gave me a tryout back in the day when I was trying to make a little comeback. The Diamondbacks let me try out. I didn't make the team, but they gave me a little tryout.
All right.
I got to tell you, also, come back.
Shout out.
We're going to get into some Lions stuff. We're going to be talking everything tonight. But let me tell you about Les Stanford, one of our amazing sponsors. What happens when you run a great business? Hey, for over 50 years, you expand. Just mouth the words, Booner.
1 second.
Just you expand and you offer more products to more people. That is exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. The same great service that customers have come to know and trust. It's located on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile Road. Check out Les Stanford also in Dearborn today. Again, find the brand you want at lesstanford.com. Booner, tell them about
Lady Jane's, baby. Come to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience. Register to win a trip of your dreams and all expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That is right, the NCAA tourney. No expenses spared for you and 5 of your best buds. You can even take me and Broder. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It is
Wicked awesome.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equip Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Join Woodward Sports and Long Drink live. Well, not live. It's going to get live on Monday the 30th. Doors open at 5:15. It's going to be a bash. It's the official Lions tailgate, their VIP tailgate party. It's at Eastern Market, shed number 5. It's going to be a blast. Come party and hang out with your Woodward Sports friends.
Yeah,
we got
baby.
food. We got drinks. We got entertainment. All included. Just head to that bullseyeeventgroup.com website to get your tickets. bullseyeeventgroup.com.
Bullseye.
Bullseye.
All right, welcome back to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. It is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Appreciate you guys all locking in here. I know the Pistons are playing. You guys are still here watching us. We appreciate that a ton. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Tell a friend about the show. Tell them to tune in. Mute the Pistons game. I know you guys want to hear George Blaha. Mute the game, though, and come listen to us for the night. Appreciate you guys. All right, brother, let's get into it here. Injury. I guess we don't have an injury report technically until tomorrow.
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about this Detroit Lions, a little intro into the Raiders game, Monday Night Football. I do want to bring up, I can't remember, who was the person on E&E today? The Raiders guy.
Hondo Carpenter.
Great
amazing interview.
Loved that from the Raiders. I know he was a Michigan State guy before from Michigan. That was the first time. Sar Thompson 3. Shout out. I know that was the first time. He's a legend in the state, it sounds like. First time I've listened to him and heard of him. He was great. And he broke down a lot of different things about the Raiders. Specifically, and we're going to talk about the trade deadline later tonight. He did mention Max Crosby. I wanted to bring that up real quick.
Max.
He brought up that was a name that's been kind of floating around. Could he come to Detroit? Could he come somewhere else? He came out and said Max Crosby's untouchable. Yeah, he'll never be traded. That is the Raiders' middle piece there. That's who they rely on. And kind of looking into the game here on Monday, I put it here on the prep. What is your biggest concern from this Raiders team? And me and you both said it at the same time.
We looked at each other like,
yep, and you Max, and that was the first thing. So that's where I'm at with this. I'm guessing that's yours. The player there, Max Crosby.
Yeah. Even with the strong offensive line that we have, we knew Max Crosby was going to be. He's an animal. He's going to be a problem. But hearing Hondo talk about him today, it made me want him on the Detroit Lions even more.
I love that
because he just talked about he's the hardest worker on the team. He's their best. He said there's their best player over Devontae Adams. He said he's just a beast, and they're going to build their team around him. So that's frustrating, but that's why I feel like. He's the one you have to worry about on Monday night.
And you know what I was thinking about with that as well, and this was my biggest concern with it, is you're going up against probably one of the best defenders in the league. You're coming off of a pretty tough game, at least that offensive line is, and Jared Goff versus Ravens defense, who it's a good defense, but they don't have like a Max Crosby.
No.
So you're coming off a game where you struggled a little bit. That offensive line wasn't. If you had to put a grade out, what would you give them a grade last week?
The Lions offensive line?
Yeah.
I'd give them a B plus.
I would almost say C plus.
Okay.
It felt like Goff was under pressure all night.
He was, and I don't associate it at all to the offensive line, but I get what you're saying.
It might not have been, but it just really felt like.
Yeah, and Hank Fraley talked about that today in his press conference. Just how there were too many times where the Ravens just had one or two more defenders rush Jared Goff, rush the quarterback than they had blockers. So when they were just man to man, when they only had 5 linemen blocking. They just constantly got into mismatches, and the Ravens are way too athletic to let them get around the edge or let them sneak through some of the gaps up the middle.
Yeah, so that's where I'm starting to get to where they're coming off that game, Broder. You're going up against some Max Crosby. It's making me. That's the biggest key to me. I don't know how big. I don't know. That's the biggest thing. And then I kind of flip the page here on the defensive side of the ball. Are you worried about this offense? I know you're like the biggest Jimmy G guy, I think, at the network, self-proclaimed.
A little bit.
Jimmy G guy, but you have Jimmy G, Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams. Yeah. Jimmy G's back after this performance versus Lamar in that offense, which I know this is like I put the Ravens as the third best team in the league, personally. Now you're going up against Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, who won the rushing title last year.
They got pieces.
They have people.
Yeah. Like they have the team that I don't think they're going to finish very well in the standings. I don't think they're going to win a lot of games, but they're going to be one of those teams that could beat anybody in the league because they have those weapons. Josh Jacobs had the rushing title last year. Devontae Adams, I still think of him as the best, if not the top one in the top 3 of receivers. Again, it's Josh McDaniels in that offense. Something's not right. They're not going away from Josh McDaniels. That's what Hondo said on the show, but they just haven't put all the pieces together. They're all frustrated. What worries me is that they are going to figure it out one game, or they're going to have a good game. I don't want it to be Monday.
Especially prime time. I feel like that's when you see teams kind of take that, make that step forward in their season as like a prime time game. This one's on the road, though, but prime time, that's when you really want to see it makes me a little more nervous. They have a spotlight on them. Guys like Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, they live for that.
Yeah.
Those are stars in this league. They live for it. So if that ends up being where they turn it up, Lions better come ready. I want to throw out this thing real quick. Tyler said, wow, Pistons 12 turnovers already, and it's still a close game. That was good. It's 41-35, 12 turnovers. They're right there. Cleaning a few things up. You're winning this game.
And we're going to see games where they have a lot of turnovers. They're young. Which is why we love them, but they're young.
Yes. Well, some of them are.
Most of them are.
All of
Who's
them
old?
are.
Broder.
Killian's one of the. Remember a couple of years ago, last year, Killian was the longest tenured Piston, I think it was.
He might be right. He still is, yeah.
Sekou Doumbouya had it for a moment.
Oh,
God.
Yeah.
Man. But, all right. Next question here with that. Let me see here.
The Raiders.
This one. All right, so real quick. Do you think this is going to be a dog walk for the Lions?
I don't.
Jimmy G's back because this is, again, I'm gonna keep it reading this because this is your week right here, Broder. We already had the pizza bet and I won, but this is your week, the Jimmy G week.
Is he even going to play?
I've been waiting for this week all month.
I don't know if he's going to play. You've been waiting for this week
Since
all
we
month.
had that conversation and you said Jimmy G's a pure winner, all I could think about, we actually mentioned that on the show. We were like, hey, we played Monday Night Football. So I've been waiting for this. So I don't think this is a dog walk for the Pistons, or for the Pistons. I shout out the Pistons, for the Lions. But I do think they win this game by at least, the spread's 7. I almost want to take the Lions to cover.
So they certainly should win it big. There's just something about Monday Night Football primetime. I think we're going to get a good effort out of the Raiders. I hope it's not their best. But yeah, Jimmy G, and I just had to Google his career win-loss record of 56-23. So when he plays, the team has a chance to win. I don't have faith in the Raiders. I thought that little stat there could carry the Raiders a little bit at the beginning of the season, especially with these weapons they got. But it hasn't worked out. And Hondo confirmed that today, talking to Ermanni, Edwards, and Maz, that they're it's kind of a cluster F out there right now. They don't know what's working. They're getting frustrated. Guys don't want to leave that team. He said that, and that stuck out to me. Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams don't want to leave Vegas, but they're welcome to speak. Like, the organization welcomes them to speak up, and they're talking about being frustrated. They want to play for a winner. They want it to be in Vegas. So it's one of those, you just got to Vegas, the prime time, they might bring their best game.
And Nolan here said, I think the spread for that game is 8.5. So that's a pretty decent spread if you think about it.
They should win.
Yeah, I'm looking at 8.5. I think the other day I saw it at 7.5. So it's moved towards the Lions. It's a full point.
Once Marvin got released,
that's a good. It's a good number though.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean that's a big number for a team that just lost though by 32 points. That makes me a little bit more nervous. I'm hoping I think they win by 10.
We needed to stay like at +7. You know what I mean? Like +7, maybe +6.5. Because like I don't want to overdo it. Like, like it's the Raiders, but like they're streaky, dude. Devontae Adams demanded more targets in the interview. Back to what you said, Broder. So maybe he'll get more looks and stuff like that. So let's just hope they don't lock in on us.
And you know what? They just lost to the Bears.
Oh.
Yeah, they're a mess.
They just lost to the Bears 30-12. And I know they didn't have Jimmy G. Even with Jimmy G, I mean, 30-12.
I thought they should have blown the Bears out with Aiden O'Connell. Like it was an absolute mess.
Brian Hoyer, 2 interceptions.
And see, we don't know what their ambitions as a Raider are this season.
Josh Jacobs, 3.2 yards per carry.
Tough.
3 point. Yeah, the rushing title last season.
Yeah, I don't
Nick.
know.
Yeah, fellas, I think the 8.5-point spread is massive, and it kind of shows you what they think about this Lions in a bounce back spot. After they lost to the Seahawks at home, they played the Falcons. They won by 14 points at home. I think this is going to be a double-digit victory for your Lions, and I think this spread obviously reflects that.
Yeah, and Steve Lehman as well, too. He said they lost to the Bears with a backup rookie quarterback. The Bears had a backup rookie quarterback. Raiders both.
Tyson.
They had basically a rookie quarterback to start the game. And Brian Hoyer. It is just Raiders actually might be a mess. As the week goes on, I might start convincing myself that this Detroit Lions team beats them by 2 touchdowns.
I hope so.
Especially at Ford Field. It's one of those things where you're coming off a big loss. You might want to bounce back and kind of show the world who you really are, and they might do that.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this then, because if we're showing the world who we really are, Stephen A. Smith
Oh,
when
I thought you were going to go to... Oh.
I am. I'm saying when we come back, I'm teasing a little bit. A little tease.
Look at you.
A
little
tease.
foreplay.
I'm learning a little bit here,
Hey,
fellas.
give it
Getting
to
better.
me.
But when we come back, Stephen A. Smith. Last week, he had the Detroit Lions as the number one team. This week, he had something different to say about them that might turn some Lions fans' heads. So before that, let me tell you guys about Big Boy.
Big Boy.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try the best cheeseburger or the new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. If you want some chicken, the Dali chicken sandwich. Turn up the heat with the Bob's Hot chicken sandwich. And if you're getting fries with it, I don't see why you wouldn't do this, but upgrade them. Chili cheese fries, loaded baked potatoes fries, and then at the very end of it all, you want to add some dessert to it. The Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake, or satisfy that sweet tooth with the Big Boy funnel cake fries. That's only at Big Boy.
Big Boy.
Woodward Sports own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel. Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
5 Iron Golf is downtown's newest sports bar. It's got 13 TrackMan simulators, a full bar and restaurant, and certified instructors. What more do you need? You have a chance to compete nationwide for a chance to win a trip to the Dominican Republic. You just got to sign up as an individual and get placed on a team, or bring a foursome. You can do so at 5irongolf.com. Use code Woodward10 for 30% off the league. Again, that is 5iron. 5irongolf.com to sign up.
All right. There we go, brother. You got it down, baby. Let's go 5 Iron. Welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Appreciate you guys all tuning in to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel or woodwardsports.com. Whatever one you're on. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit that like button if you haven't already. I saw this on the morning show this morning, Broder. Text you about it. I was like, we have to talk about this. Because last week, when we did our power rankings, I praised this man, and I said thank you for putting the Detroit Lions #1 in your power rankings. It was like a big deal. Stephen A. Smith came out and said the Detroit Lions are the best team in the NFL. Flip it 7 days later. Stephen A. Smith and Jaylen, did you have that Stephen A. Smith video here?
I got it locked and loaded. I'm ready for you, man.
Stephen A. Smith had this to say about the Detroit Lions. Flip-flop. Hopped off the bandwagon fully. Here's Stephen A. Smith on the Detroit Lions after their Ravens loss.
Boom! It's fraudulence. You see, when you're looking for the definition of fraudulence, that's what the damn Detroit Lions showed you today. You got a top 4 offense. You got a top 9 defense. You got Jared Goff, who was an MVP candidate. They were 13-3 since week 9 of last season. You're looking at the Detroit Lions and you're saying, excuse me, even on my A-list on First Take, on ESPN's First Take last week, I had them as #1 team in the NFL. Damn it, I'm stuttering, tripping over myself because it came out of my mouth to be complimentary of a franchise that's perpetually disgusting. One playoff victory since 1957. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 10 years before I was born. That was so damn long ago, I don't remember who the hell the president was. Dwight Eisenhower. And to get your ass kicked so thoroughly, so embarrassingly, so profoundly. What happened to biting kneecaps, Dan Campbell? The Lions reminded us that they're just another team.
Shut up.
Tripping over my words. I'm starting. Stephen A. He just named 10 reasons why the Detroit Lions aren't frauds.
Like, dude, I was thinking
13,
the exact same
he said
thing.
13-3. Now they're 13-4 in the last. So you're telling me you go back 17 games, a full season. That Detroit Lions are 13-4 team.
Cool.
You're telling me Jared Goff, just because he had one bad game, go look at his stats in the last 17 games. Stephen A. Smith. There's a reason you had them as the number one team. Now, is it your fault that you fell for them and put them as your number one team? Maybe. Probably. Yes, it is. I did the same thing. That doesn't mean they're a fraudulent team.
No.
Jeff brought off a good point this morning. If you're going to say the Lions are a fraudulent team, Stephen A., the Dolphins are a fraudulent team because they lost 2 games. The Cowboys are a fraudulent team because they went and lost. That's the real fraudulent team.
Week 3.
Because they didn't lose to a great football team. They went and lost to the Arizona Cardinals. The Detroit Lions have taken care of every single team that they needed to when they were the favorite. When they were the favorite and they went up against a bad team, they won that game single-handedly by 14 or more points, just like that streak they had when they went on that 4-game win streak. So Stephen A. Smith, go look at those fraudulent teams and then come back to us. But this Detroit Lions team is still a contending team that has a chance to go out and do something. They're going to win the NFC North. They're going to make some noise in the playoffs. And then once they do that, they might have a chance to still go a little farther. But to go from the number one team in the NFL and then say they're complete frauds,
yeah,
I don't like that.
Yeah, it's how strong he was talking about fraudulence.
I don't like that.
Like, okay, it was a little fake out. Number one, they got beat. You got to move them down. But fraudulence? I'm so glad you said that. I really don't have much to add because the key points I was going to bring up, his whole monologue leading up to his final statement was why they're not frauds. They've been doing this consistently.
He proved himself wrong in the same statement. It was unbelievable.
What
it was crazy. And then he started stumbling all over his words. He's like, you don't even believe yourself.
Best friend.
He doesn't even believe himself because guess what? If they go out and win by 30 and then they beat the Chargers and then they win the next week and then they win another 4 straight games, guess who's going to be right back on that? Stephen A. Smith. And I bet you he has them in their top 5.
Probs.
And he's going to be like, oh, maybe I was wrong. You can't just keep going back and forth here. He's been in the industry way longer than me, so maybe you can do that. I don't know. Maybe I have something to learn over here. Do I have something to learn?
No. You're good. Just wait for weeks. Wait till we play the Cowboys.
You remember a couple weeks ago was it the Seahawks? What game was that? Where I told, it was the Seahawks game. After that, I made a statement. Said, hey, if you hopped off the bandwagon on this Monday, there's no more room for you to hop back on. And guess what happened? The Detroit Lions went and won 4 straight games.
Boom.
And there were people hopping back on, and it wasn't just normal people. It was national media that was talking a lot about the Detroit Lions at the end of week 2. And then 4 weeks later, they were like, this is the greatest team that's ever touched a football field.
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith.
You get 1 refund of your train ticket.
You do, and no one else is allowed back on.
No.
Stephen A. Smith. Mm-hmm. You were not allowed.
Seats are filled. Seats are filled.
Stephen A. Smith. Seats are filled.
You know who can remain on it?
Not Stephen A. Yes. Dan
Orlovsky.
Who's our Riddick.
Lewis Riddick. There we go. That's the name.
There's people. I mean, were we missing anyone else?
All of us. We can stay on it.
All of us. Okay. Yeah. Everyone in the chat.
Yeah. You guys in the chat.
Aboard.
Guys
Actually, there's a couple people that no.
Not Cash.
Brandon Katz. No.
You said his name on the show.
Brandon Katz.
Yeah.
We're allowed to, right?
I don't know.
He's never in our chat. I've been in a lot of battles.
Keep it that way.
I've been in a lot of battles. If you say it 3 times, he pops up in the chat. It's a fact.
Oh,
I found out today there might be some Brandon Katz burners out there.
Oh, for sure.
There was someone that was in the morning show chat that was like, do any of you guys here even have a journalist degree?
Actually.
Do you?
Actually, I do.
Do you actually?
Let's go, Jaylen.
Yeah, finished in 4 years, 2 Dean's List, 3 out of 4.
All right, let's go.
Whoever said that.
So whoever that Brandon Katz burner, we've got someone on our show with the journalist degree.
I covered the Horizon League 3 years in a row.
All right.
Yeah.
Brandon Katz.
Take that, Brandon.
It's and shout out to my dad because he's a good attorney, a kind attorney, but that's a very attorney thing to say.
Oh, yeah.
Throwing your degree in.
I
have a degree in sports.
I have a general business
degree.
Suck it,
Brandon Katz.
I have a degree. Business.
Yeah. Whatever.
And it wasn't Brandon Katz that said it, but it was like a random account that said it. And then someone in the chat was like, I have Brandon Katz blocked, and that person I have blocked.
Yeah.
So it must have been his account. Might have changed the name. Who knows? I'm just throwing ideas out
there. Was a troll in I think it was Big D Energy, or maybe it was Ermanni and Edwards, that I managed to turn around today. It was like Big Biggs or something who just says Jared Goff is trash. Jared Goff is trash. Around. Yeah, I thought it was a bot. He was annoying, but We had a little talk. I put him in timeout a couple times. He came back out, and he was starting to have some actual conversation.
No,
Hey.
which is good. I like doing that. Do you think that there's going to be like, if the Lions do go on this like another winning streak here, since they did lose to the Ravens, do you think there's going to be another like obviously the Seahawks, and then they're 5-1, and there's like the uproar of them? Do you think, being that they lost by 30, that people like say you go on a 4-game winning streak, there's going to be a lot of national media that's still kind of like at
They'll
that
keep
point,
him at 3 instead of 1.
Yeah, like they question them a little bit just because they're like, hey, this Ravens game. I feel like because it took so long for the Lions, like they won a couple weeks in a row, and then it still took them to win 4 straight for anyone to give them credit. Like, remember that the dude from Sports Illustrated? You're still with 5-1. He still had them at 7. So is it going to be hard for them to get back to the top 5?
Yes, but I don't mind that. Like for us as in Detroit Lions fans, Detroit Lions media, we understand that this is a real team. Whether you believe they can win the Super Bowl or win a playoff game or not,
right.
Like they're an actual good football team. They deserve to be in the top 10 at the very least. I think the national media, people who aren't as into this team or understanding what this team is, I do think it'll be a little harder for them to allow the Lions back in their top 3, top 2. They feel the same old Lions. They feel that stuff more than people in Detroit here.
Yeah,
I believe, and maybe that's not 100% accurate, but they jump off and on the bandwagon faster.
I feel like I hear a lot of people in national media when they start talking about the Lions that they have that SOL kind of mentality, and even people like if we speak with them or they're on a different show or I'm just watching a podcast or something, it seems like that mentality comes out like that.
Yeah.
And
well, it's like you look in the mirror, see yourself in the mirror every single day. You don't see the changes, the small changes, but they're just coming back for a little taste here and there.
I don't see how
they
big
think,
I'm getting.
They lost by 32. That means that they're the old Lions.
Yeah, that's where my worry is. I kind of like being a little
little underrated, a little underdogish.
I do. I like that.
The haters, the negative stuff, and all that. The doubters, that makes you 100 times more hungrier. I think people work best off that. You don't want everybody to like you.
Remind me of the Indian rap battle, the 8 Mile. I say it proudly. No, there is something about being the underdog.
Fire.
That underdog mentality. Hate it or love it, the underdog's on top.
The game at 50 cents.
I don't mind being underestimated. That is, and that's partly what Dan Campbell, that's partly like some of the players, Jared Goff said after the game, like they like living in the dirt. They like being in that nobody believes in us world. So then they can go shock them. They can go prove them wrong. I'm cool with that. I'm disappointed in the loss to the Ravens. I wish it was a close loss. I wish it was a win. But I think it was bad enough where this team isn't going to have another egg like that. They might lose another game, but they're not going to blow it like that.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it here. I know we talked about a couple weeks ago too, Broder, that if Terry came out with it and said that if the Lions do beat the Raiders, that there's going to be 2 more nationally televised games.
Oh, again? Like they're going to flex them again? Or are you talking about the Ravens?
No, the Lions. But didn't he say that? Or did he say that about the Ravens game? Okay. I went wrong there a little bit.
No.
Yeah. But my thought process is, though, if you beat the
flex 1.
I think so, because if you beat the Raiders, right? I think if you win that Chargers game, that's going to be like a big game. If you go win that, you're going to beat the Bears, you're going to beat the Packers. That's 5. That's 4 straight already. I think you go out and beat New Orleans and Chicago. That's 6 straight.
And that's a real possibility. That actually should happen.
You're sitting at 11-2 going into week 14. I think that's when you start seeing people talking about the Lions again, because you know what's going to come out of that, and we're going to talk about it at 9:30, I believe.
Nice tease.
Is the trade deadline. So I do think the Lions make a move. I think Brad Holmes does make a move. You
think he doesn't?
I think he does.
Oh, okay.
I was pretty vocal about that yesterday as well. So that's where I'm like, if they make a move and then they will win 5-6 straight, you have no choice but to put the Lions up there in the NFL.
Got you.
Yeah, zero choice. 0.0. All right, let me tell you about Woodward and Maine, and we tell us about Dispo right after that. Woodward and Maine, though, Detroit or Woodward Sports and Lions Insider Show. It is Tuesdays, 7 to 8 a.m. And this week, it won't be Sunday. It will be Monday from 7 to 8 a.m. as well. Back-to-back days, Monday and Tuesday this week, 7 to 8 a.m. Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster. They will get you guys locked in with all the insider information, injuries, transactions, trade deadlines coming up next Tuesday, so they'll probably talk about that a lot.
Yep.
So make sure you guys tune into that on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
We'll get you locked, but if you want to get loaded, you got to head to Dispo, where you can experience Dispo Romeo, a team that curates an exclusive atmosphere. They are the first ever cannabis mall of its kind. They're conveniently located off of Van Dyke and 23 Mile Road in Romeo, and that Romeo location is open late. They're open till midnight, Monday through Saturday, every day except Sunday. Can it get any better than that? No way, no way. Dispo Dispensary, disposhops.com. They are your local cannabis plug.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer at Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new Field House. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, learning street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Holton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
How would you like to win a 100K Vegas getaway? You can take your friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. That's the Syntron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack of Syntron today and enter to win at drinksyntron.com/Vegas or buy it at your local Meijer store. Syntron, the healthier energy drink with great taste so you can look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself. Check them out. drinksyntron.com/Vegas.
Vegas, baby. We're going to Vegas. Let's go. I've never been to Vegas. Hey, shout out. Look at the Ben Wallace jersey. That thing is fire. I appreciate you guys tuning in.
That's for Terry.
Shout out Terry.
I actually got to turn back around.
Terry Foster?
Earpiece.
Terry Foster?
Oh, no, Tarry.
Get yourself tangled up over there. With
I know. He wanted to see if was it Ben Wallace's jersey? Yup.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And Platty has a white Rasheed Wallace from the same era.
Okay. Hey, shout out Chris Platty. He's over there watching the show. He's held his phone up.
Legend.
I appreciate you guys tuning in to Woodward Sports Network. It is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Hit that like button if you guys haven't already. Let's get the likes up a little bit. We've got a lot of people watching the show right now. Don't have a lot of likes, so let's get that thing up. Let's get over 50 before the end of this next segment. Pistons are at halftime. Let's get a quick update real quick.
What are we doing?
Nick, do you have an update?
Yes, sir. As always, let's go. Cade, big first half, knocking 2 for 2 on threes. He has 18 points. Asar Thompson already with 7 boards and 3 blocks. We are down 47-58. Way too many turnovers for these Pistons. Got to clean it up in the second half if we want to stay with this Miami Heat team. Love what I'm seeing out of Cade Cunningham, though. Just cut off the turnovers a little bit.
Hey,
How about that report?
Thank you, Nick, for the studio update for the Detroit Pistons. Appreciate that.
Back to the studio.
Appreciate that update from the arena there, Nick.
Unplanned, too.
Beautiful.
You just hit him with it, and he just responded with the mic. Let me tell you about what's going on in the Pistons game.
Let me tell you about what's going on in the Detroit Pistons versus Miami Heat.
Dude, we could be Greg Kelser and George Blaha.
Who's George?
We should do that.
You know who George Blaha is?
I said, who's George?
Oh.
Booner.
Actually,
I'll be
he's a legend.
George. I'll be the legend.
Yeah, I'll be Kelser.
Okay, yeah, George.
2 legends still.
So you're Kelser?
Yeah, even though I went to Michigan State.
We should do a skit like that one time.
I got ideas.
We do it right here?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that. All right, let's get into it, baby. Let's go. Hey, shout out the Pistons.
Shout out.
NFC North. This is a question I ran by a few people outside of the studio here, just asking people around after that Minnesota Vikings win, because they didn't just beat any team.
No.
They beat the San Francisco 49ers, and they did it. And you could say, oh, well, they didn't have Deebo Samuel. Guess what? They didn't have Justin Jefferson. So there's that. They didn't have their best player. So that's where I want to kind of go with this conversation here is, first question with it, Broder, is there any nerves at all? Because I asked some people, and I got a half and half. Some people were like a little bit like you just came off a 30-point loss. They just beat the best team in the NFL. Is there any like, hey, maybe we should really take this a little bit more serious? We have a team right behind us.
Well, I think they should definitely take it seriously. I still think they should dominate the conference, but it might not be as easy as we all thought. I think it's tough because I always thought Minnesota had some power, not firepower, but they have some juice. Obviously, with Justin Jefferson, even though he was out, they got some players. But it's the team and how they finish close games. They won them all last year, but they're losing them all this year. I just don't have a lot of belief in them as a team. But that's not to say they don't have the right players. Danielle Hunter, I can't believe I didn't mention him. He's one of those guys who everyone was speculating was going to be on the trade block. If they're in it, they're not trading him.
Maybe not.
No, and that's a key. That's a key piece to the defense. And if they trade him and they're at all within it, they're not trading him to the Lions. So Miami, Minnesota, they could end up right there again. We've only played one conference game. Or one division game, excuse me. So we'll see.
Yeah, because if you think about it, you play a Raiders team who has pieces, and it's like you said, it's not going to. It might not be like just a walk in the park versus the Raiders. Say the Detroit Lions drop the Raiders game. Say they drop the Chargers game because that's on the road. That's a tough game. And then the Vikings win their next 2 games. The division's tied. It's that close. You're 2 games away. It's a 2-game lead. Now I think they go in and win Monday and pull away. But if the Vikings keep winning, they're just going to sit there 2 games behind. And guess who you play 2 out of the 3 last games? The Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
So it could be in a position to where you're only 2 games ahead, and going into week 15, it would be week 16. Mm-hmm. And say you're 2, maybe 3 games ahead, you have to go out there and win football games. And I would rather. We had a conversation. We did a whole segment weeks ago about what week will the Detroit Lions win the NFC North. And I believe me and you both kind of came on like 13, 14, maybe even 15. It was like a little earlier than you would normally. A division winner normally would. So that's where I'm a little bit like. Maybe it's not going to be week 14 or 15. Maybe it's going to actually end up being that Vikings game that you have to go win to win the division.
And that's a big win to beat the 49ers, which I chalked up as probably a guaranteed loss on their schedule. That's huge because I don't know where they're ranked. I didn't check this before, but the Vikings got to be pretty close to the Lions in terms of toughness of schedule. The Lions are by far the hardest team they're playing, but they got coming up Falcons, Saints, Broncos, Bears, Raiders. Bengals are playing better, but you don't know what they're going to be like. Lions, Packers, Lions. So it's the Packers, the Bears, and the Lions. I don't think they're good teams, but they have pieces that allow them to beat anybody on any given night, which any NFL team can, but I think they're a little more serious than the Cardinals, who have beat some teams. They beat the Cowboys. It's just a weird feeling. I don't know who to fear more. I don't fear anyone, but which one could sneak up on you and steal a game or 2?
I mean, the Vikings could win their next 5. Those are all winnable. They might be favored in their next 5 games.
They could win out until the Bengals, maybe.
They're favored, I think, already versus the Packers. They potentially could be versus the Falcons, depending. Falcons and Saints up in the air, but those are winnable games for them. Yeah.
What do you guys think in the chat? Who is the biggest competition for the Lions at this point in the season? What we've gone through 7 weeks. We're in week 8.
I'll make a poll.
And there's people in here.
Shoot.
Like Tyler, the Vikings could potentially compete for a wild card spot. So there's people.
Detroit, and they got Kirk, who's the king of mid-tier QBs, Tyler says.
Detroit Lenny, Lions need to keep winning because the Vikings aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
What teams you want, Broder?
Packers, Vikings, and Bears.
All right.
What's that, Nick?
You want the odds on the NFC North?
Has it changed at all?
Yeah, give it to me.
Okay, so the Detroit Lions are still heavy favorites with minus 360, and the Vikings are plus 470. But like you said, if Monday night goes south and the Vikings pick up a big win with that easy schedule, those odds are going to change quick.
And again, with that, even if the Detroit Lions win the next few games, the Vikings are that schedule. They're playing the Packers, the Falcons, the Saints, the Broncos, and the Bears. Those are easy games until they get all the way down to us, and they play the Bengals, Lions twice. So, their schedule, the schedule they have their next 4 games is basically what that 4-game winning streak that the Lions just went on. Mm-hmm. That's basically kind of what they have coming up.
That's a good point.
So there is a question to where, hey, if they keep winning, and even if we keep winning, it's going to be that 2-game spread. And I don't know about you fellas, but I'm away from the SOL. Remember, I'm the brand new Lions guy. I'll drink the Kool-Aid. But in the NFL, if it's a 2-game going in with your last 4 games, it's nerves start to hit in. It's not like we're sitting here at 10-point favorites. You're sitting there. It's like a 2.5-point favorite game where it's a pick 'em.
Who do you fear?
That's how I look. The Vikings.
Vikings.
They're the only ones I think. I don't like the Packers. Jordan Love's trash. Bears trash. They don't even know who. They just had a Division II quarterback. Shout out D2 Saginaw Valley, but they just had a D2 quarterback come in and play better than their first round draft pick. That was supposed to be their dude. So I don't care about them. It's just the Vikings. After what I saw what they did versus the 49ers, I'm scared.
Right?
A little bit, not a lot. I still believe in this team.
Yeah, I want to get this out here. I'm not afraid of the Vikings at all on my side. I know they have some dangerous pieces with Justin Jefferson if he comes back healthy and that offense explodes the way Addison's been playing. But I have 100% faith in this Lions team that they're going to win the next 4 games against the Raiders, the Chargers, the Bears, and the Packers and bounce back from that big Ravens loss.
I want that clear too. I think the Lions are going to get it done. Like I've been very vocal on that. This is the best team, one of the best teams in the NFC still. But there is still that. Hey, Vikings are right there. Be careful a little bit.
They're playing for home field advantage. They're playing for playoff positioning. These games, every single game matters, even if we think they're winning 13, 14, 15? No, 14 games, 13. Up there. Jaylen, what you think? Who you fear the most in the NFC North? The Vikings, the Packers, the Bears?
Nobody. Who am I scared of? Jordan Love? No. Am I scared of Justin Fields? No. Kirk Cousins? No. I mean, Justin Jefferson, I don't know.
No.
What you got to say? Say it again.
No.
He doesn't fear anybody either, he says.
Who are we scared for? I just don't.
Or who do you think gives the most competition? Who could push the Lions?
I don't think it's scared. Is the right word?
Probably the wrong word.
I'll say the Vikings, but in all unbiasedly, to be truthfully honest, nobody. The people that our biggest threats and who we should be worried about are not in our division and are on the other side of the NFL.
Interesting.
So I'm not in the NFC. We're clearing that. I mean, we're 5-2. We're 5-2, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're fine. We're gonna sweep the NFC North, and then our real threats in comp are the NFC. Was it South or whatever? Stuff like that. I'm not worried, man.
Oh man, some of these comments. Yeah, I'm not gonna read those out loud, but some of those are funny.
I heard you giggling. I knew there had to be something in there, Stevie.
Do you guys remember last year though? The Vikings, what was it? 13 one-possession games or 12? I can't remember the exact number, and they won every single one, undefeated.
Never lost.
This year, Buccaneers 20-17 one-possession game. Eagles one-possession game, loss. Chargers one-possession game, loss. Started the season off last year. They didn't lose 1-1. They were undefeated in one-possession games. They started the season off 0-3 in one-possession games. And then they beat the Panthers, another one-possession game versus the Chiefs, lost. All 4 of their losses, one-possession games. That's the difference from last year to this year. We knew last year the Vikings were fraud. I'm convinced this year it's that same type of Vikings teams where they might stick around. Some people said in the chat, they might go for a wild card spot, but they're still frauds. They'll lose the first round just like they did last year.
You can't trust the purple.
No, you can't.
You can't.
You can't. Not Skull.
Hot take. I don't like the Pistons uniforms. What are these ones called?
I think it's a statement jersey.
What are they? The city
statement. I think it's a statement.
I don't like them. And what I really meant to ask was, do the Phoenix Suns, are they sponsored by UWM too? The Pistons got UWM here.
I don't think so.
Now the owner of an opposing team.
They have a different patch on. The Suns do. I see what you're saying.
It's like if the Pistons were sponsored by Quicken Loans. Something seems a little weird.
No, I don't think they should switch that though.
Yeah.
Maybe I should. No, I'm not gonna actually say that where I work out loud. But I was about to say something, but I won't do that.
Don't.
All right, let's go to break then real quick. When we come back, 9 o'clock. Ooh, this is I'm trying to go 4 for 4 here.
Booner questions. I brought one. This one's Booner
interesting.
breakdown.
I hope it doesn't make people mad. What I want to tell people about all these questions that I bring up is,
it's meant to get the people going.
Yes,
it's meant to be provocative.
If there's anyone, I think at the network or anywhere in Detroit, you guys see me drinking the Kool-Aid after wins. I am all in on this football team. But one thing I've learned being in this profession is look at the other side, ask questions, get a feel for it.
Yeah.
I'm all about brand new Lions. And I'm all about, let's not talk about SOL, but there are questions, and I've learned that. So I'm bringing another question. The first 3, they were not negative, but they were on the other side of the fence, or how do you want to say that? Is that good? Did I say that?
Yeah, I actually didn't hear what you were saying. I was looking at you, but I was totally looking right through you because I thought of another acronym for BNL.
What's that?
Booner never loses.
Oh!
See?
Brand new Lions. Booner never loses. I love that. That's why I love you, bro.
Got you, man.
Let's go. Hey, how about that? All right, let's go to break real quick. Oh, that's actually me.
Yeah.
Hamlin Pub, baby.
That honey baked Hamlin.
Hamlin Pub. Ooh, that sounds good. A little honey baked ham. But we're talking about wings, though, right now. Have you ever wanted a bar where you are a regular? We have just the place for you. Head over to one of Hamlin Pub's 7 locations and experience where everyone is a regular. Broder is a regular there. You might see him walk in, see him at the bar.
I love
sitting
wings.
by himself, drinking a beer, eating wings, watching football. Whether you're enjoying half-off pizza on a Thursday night or game day specials available during all Michigan sports and NFL games, that is Hamlin Pub. It is the place. Visit a location today and experience your new favorite pub for all things sports.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Turn up the heat with Bob's Hot Chicken Sandwich. Upgrade those regular fries with our chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. Hit your sweet tooth with funnel cake fries or Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake. Load up on all your favorites today at Big Boy.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
We have football on the brain. Fall ushers in college and professional football, and this fall is already awesome. It's also a perfect time to shop for your home and auto insurance, so do so and shop like a pro at Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you, so call Mark at Swiss Insurance at 248-800-4177 or visit SwissINS.com today.
All right, welcome back to the Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, whatever you're watching on. Appreciate you guys tuning in. It is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Appreciate you guys all. Hit that like button if you haven't already. My name is Booner, BNL. Booner never loses. Broder, as always, next to me. Look at that big thing of beer right there. And Broder's going to chug it. I told you guys, he's at Hamlin Pub by himself a lot, hanging out, which is not a bad thing. Shout out to Hamlin Pub.
All right, honey baked ham that was on Spenmo's sandwich yesterday. That looked pretty good.
I heard that sandwich looked like a good sandwich.
Went viral, it seems like.
Yeah, Lucas was telling me like everything on it. It made me want to get a sandwich, and the next day I went and made a sandwich. Not going to lie. So, all right, let's talk about it. I've got a question for you, Broder. And again, I want to put this out in the world. My questions are, you can look at them like, hey, people outside of the Detroit world, these are questions they would ask. Okay. That's kind of how I look at these questions. I don't look at them in any like will intent, or is that the right term? I don't look at them in any will ill here towards the Detroit Lions. But this one's about Brad Holmes. Trade deadline's approaching. Maybe while we're on the show, there will be a trade that comes through. Maybe tomorrow while we're on the show.
Steve Lehman's teasing Julian Blackmon. I know that's just Steve's teasing it. No research.
What's that?
Julian for the Lions. Never just
okay.
Move on.
All right,
I got you.
No, you're good. I was thinking of a basketball player. Blackmon played, I think, for Louisville.
I was thinking of Justin. When I first saw it, I was like, the receiver who was drafted by the Jaguars, who like really didn't turn out from
Oklahoma State, number 14.
Yeah, he was
6'1", 220.
Was that a charge?
Sorry,
flop.
Was a flop?
Flop. No, Julian Blackmon.
Yeah, you thinking about Justin Blackmon?
Justin.
Yeah. See, I got you, brother.
Justin Blackmon. So this question, Brad Holmes question, fellas.
Brad.
It's a Brad Holmes question.
Daddy.
Trade deadline approaching. We obviously already know what Brad Holmes has been when it comes to drafting players, how great he's been. I think we can all agree. Probably one of the best GMs in the league when it comes to that, correct?
I think so.
Now, as a GM, there's different, and I look at this in a different way. There's different steps of being a GM. Just like teams, there's different steps in the rebuild phase. You're starting to win, and then you're kind of in that contender phase.
playoffs.
And I look at that same for the GM. Like, you come in, you're trying to rebuild, and you're kind of looking to do that and bring guys in and draft guys. And then once you draft those guys come in, then you're looking to build a program. You're looking to bring veterans in. And then after that, you're a contender and you're looking to trade. We're in that phase right now with Brad Holmes, correct?
Yes.
We're in the contending phase to where you go out there, you do what the Eagles and 49ers are doing to compete. This is a different part of the GM kind of world we haven't seen Brad Holmes in. He wasn't in that really with the Rams because he was the head of the scouting department with college scouts. So this is the first time you're seeing a guy like Brad Holmes in that department. My question is,
nice setup.
If Brad Holmes does not make a move at all, zero moves, he doesn't get a deal done, does that worry you kind of in the bigger picture with Brad Holmes? And I know, like I said, I'm looking at it in 3 different steps as a GM.
Question.
Drafting, bringing guys in, free agents, and trading during when you need to either be a buyer or seller. If you're in this stage right here as a contender and he doesn't buy, are you worried?
I would have some concerns.
Is there a question? Because you have to think. You have to think about this, because this is actually that next step of being a GM to build not just a franchise, but like a Chiefs style thing, and what the Eagles are doing, what the 49ers are doing. If you want to get to that level, this is part of it.
And it's one thing to do, make your moves, have all your success in the offseason where you have time to think and plan and strategize. This is on the fly now. Trade deadline right in the middle of your season. Despite the record, despite the schedule, despite being on a bye week when it happens, you've got to make decisions on the fly about players that you've already committed to, players that you've selected for this team. You've paid to be on this team because you think they're ones that can help you get to the Super Bowl. So Brad is now having to make decisions. Man, which ones do we have to move on from? Which ones aren't going to help us win that first playoff game? Which ones aren't going to help us take that next step and get to the NFC Championship? This is a tough time for any GM, but like you said, to do it with the best of them, to do it with the Eagles, the Niners, the Rams.
That's where you're at.
The top GMs in the league. I think you have to make a move. So you can't do nothing. I would rather... Gosh. Maybe I'll bring this question up later, but in my head it's like, would you rather do nothing or make a move or moves that don't work out, that kind of flop? I think we have to see something. You take that risk first.
Well, if you can make a move to where you're not giving up anything on the team now, I think you do that. And real quick, I just lost it. Where did it go? Corey Berry in the Woodward Sports chat. Brad will do it on his timetable just like Yzerman did. Yep. The next step y'all are talking about may be the next offseason for Brad. This is the difference to me between that, though, Broder. Is Yzerman right now, think about this at when the trade deadline comes in the NHL and the Wings are in a position to go for seeding and to be maybe potentially the number 1 seed in the conference. You're not telling me at the trade deadline Steve Yzerman isn't looking to buy.
He'll go for it.
Because I guarantee you Steve Yzerman at that point is looking to buy. Brad Holmes right now he's not on his own timetable anymore. He's made that he did his timetable. He's built this team, and right now you're tied for the second best team in the NFC record-wise. Your timetable is now. This is like saying Steve Yzerman this year, if they're fighting for a number 1 seed, don't buy. Sit still. No,
plan for next year.
The Lions are 5-2. They're trying to win the NFC North. They're trying to go for seeding. It's buy.
Buy.
It is buy. So there is the timetable's out the table here. You know exactly what time it is. You're competing for a Super Bowl technically.
Yeah.
There's no like, hey, let's just wait. Let's wait another year. Wait till the offseason. You're going to be 13-4.
Yeah. The concept that Corey Berry brought up, it is true, and it does make sense. But what you were saying too is also how it's what it's turned into. I actually do think that Brad Holmes' timeline was a year or 2 from now. But I think with everything that happened, they've had success probably a little bit faster than they expected, or at least found themselves in a position with their conference, with the NFC North being down, their division, with their division being down, the timeline has to be moved up. Like, you don't get many opportunities to compete, not just for your division title, but to actually make a run in the playoffs. And I think just the way the landscape of both the North and the way the NFL is shaped up, the Lions have a chance to do some damage, to make some moves. I don't think you can pass that by. If you make a somewhat conservative trade, that's another story. If there's a reason behind it, I get it, but you got to make a move. Booner, let's go tell him a little mid-break read, and then we're going to go to Nick.
Yes, I'm going to tell you guys about the Woodward Sports Lions post-game show, hosted by Tom Mazaway, hosted by Sam Stick Day. I believe this week actually might be Spencer Ragster. I think it's Stick and Spencer. Yep, that's what I kind of took earlier from today. But it is all Lions season long. Directly after every single Lions game, they will break down the games, take phone calls, tell you guys everything about the games. Hopefully they are all Lions wins on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel right after every single Lions win. Nick, what did you have for that?
Yeah, I'd be super disappointed if Brad Holmes doesn't make a move, and I would start to question his in-season moves. We know what he does in the offseason and in the draft. He is an elite drafter, and that's why I'd be willing to part ways with a second rounder, a third rounder, because we know he can hit in the later rounds. I'd be willing to give up a second or a third for a starter on this team, an impact player for when you get into the playoffs, because you already have your young core nucleus of players in St. Brown, in Hutchinson, in Penei Sewell. Those are 3 Pro Bowl, borderline all-pro type players that are already built up on this team that they drafted. You can go out there and trade some draft picks for some key guys to help make this push to take over the North and be a real contender in the NFC.
Can we kind of talk about this one thing, this comment here? Wilson said we're more than one player away from the Super Bowl, if we're being honest here.
Yeah.
I agree with it, and I disagree. Because I say it all the time, I'm convinced if you can get into the second round and you can kind of get in that position to where you're 1, maybe 2 wins away from getting to the Super Bowl, I think you have a chance. And I think a lot of NFL teams, like if you're sitting there and you win your first playoff game and you're in that next, you have a chance to get to the Super Bowl. You have a chance to win every game in the NFL. So that's where I'm at. But to Wilson's point, yeah, there are pieces that are missing. There are injuries that have happened that put you a little bit behind this season, that like C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Manuel Mosley, Dave Montgomery kind of person, James Houston. Those guys potentially could, not Mosley, but C.J. Gardner-Johnson could be back for the playoffs.
Yeah, so the confidence in
James Houston could be back at the end of the season.
He could be back in the next couple of weeks. It depends on how far they're coming along.
What did I say yesterday, too, about the Swiss cheese? You know where your holes are. One of the best things probably coming out of this Ravens game you could take out of, you know exactly where the holes are in your team now after a loss like that. Brad, that was probably, I'm not going to say it was good that we lost, but Brad Holmes knows now. They can go watch that film. I heard Jared Goff on the Rich Eisen show actually talk about it today or yesterday night. He came out and was like, Rich Eisen actually asked him, we talked about it yesterday, Broder, do they bury that film? And Jared Goff said, hell no.
Yeah.
We're keeping that film. There were so many things to take away from that one game right there. And I'm sure Brad Holmes looked at that one game and said, all right, we need a D end. We need to build on the D line. We're going to need to get another corner. And if we can, let's get another running back to kind of be safe. Those are the biggest holes to me. And if you can fill those holes out and your offensive line stays healthy and gets healthy, you have backups on the offensive line now. I'm telling you, Wilson, it might be 2 or 3 players, but Brad Holmes saw what we needed. I think he gets it done.
And what did I tell you yesterday? Brad Holmes has so much cheese, he could open up a deli.
Yes.
So he needs to spend that money. He needs to go make a trade. Maybe that means you got to sign that person to a long-term contract or something. I'm in the corner of, I would love to see Brad Holmes and the Lions do something along the lines of what the Atlanta Braves did. I don't know if we have how many baseball fans we have out there, but they find their young stars and they pay them. They sign them to long-term contracts before they reach their prime. They clue in. They're so confident that they found the right guys. They develop them through their farm system. They give Austin Riley a 10-year, $100-some million contract before he reaches his prime, and he's turned into the star that they expected him. But that's allowed them. They got Acuna. They've got a great starting lineup. Pitch. They've got all these pieces now, and I know the Braves didn't make it to the Super. Oh my gosh, World Series. But I love how that team is built, and I would love to see Brad Holmes go lock up Amon-Ra St. Brown like right now. Give him. It'll cost you less now to lock him up long term, and then maybe it's not Amon-Ra, maybe it's Penei Sewell or Aiden Hutch. Like, give them what they deserve now instead of waiting a year or two to sign them to an even bigger contract. If you know they're your guys, and to me, I think those 3 are probably it. Like Penei, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Hutch. Go sign them.
Yeah.
You know, just go keep him
like,
here.
Like the Raiders, like what's his name was the guy earlier today was saying about Max Crosby. Like they know that's their guy.
Yeah, they're
not giving him up. And I think it's the same thing with those three guys.
I would love to see. They're going to give Aiden deserves a Max Crosby type contract, but I would love to see him get that right now. So in 2 years, when he would get it, he's 10th in edge rushers in terms of his contract.
That's another thing with this question. Remember the question I asked at the beginning of this. That's another thing. How does Brad Holmes handle contracts? How does he handle free agency?
So far, has been great.
We know Brad Holmes is an A+ GM when it comes to drafting and finding talent. We know that. But it's just like any other player, like Amon-Ra St. Brown. What's his speed? What's his catching ability? What's his toughness? It's like a Madden. It's like a Madden rating. What's Brad Holmes' GM rating? Right now, we know it's like an A+ for drafting and finding players. What is it in free agency? What is it in contracts? Biggest one we're going to find out within the next 5 days. What is it in at the trade deadline? Yeah. What is it trading? How good are you at building a team when you're at that point?
Yeah. So I have confidence. We haven't experienced this before.
Well, there's 5 days. I think he's going to make a move. From the tweets and stuff we've seen, it seems like the Detroit Lions are pretty active.
On Halloween, the last person I would want showing up at my door or showing up on my phone is that 313 Brad Holmes number.
Yes, because how many trades has he stole from people within the NFC North on draft night? That man's going to steal someone. I'm excited to see it.
Jeff Okudah is playing pretty well in Atlanta.
He is.
And Swift is playing pretty well in Philly. And I'm not saying they're bad moves, but it's good. Like he's building up equity around the league, both with players, getting them in a better he moved, especially Jeff Okudah. He moved on, got him in a better situation for him. DeAndre Swift we don't like it as Lions fans. It could be a competitor, but he sent him home. He didn't just trade him to the frickin' Cardinals with Pew Pew. They traded him to his hometown. He can compete for a Super Bowl. I know that sucks in the short term, but think of DeAndre Swift when he's talking to his friends, like, man, or his other people around the league. It's like, yeah, you want to sign a 1-year contract to go to the Lions. They'll take care of you. They'll make sure you get in the yes. That stuff goes. That's why all these 1-year contracts are happening. They're starting to believe in the organization first.
Yeah,
that's what it excites me a ton.
We will as well too. Make sure you guys stick around because at 9:30 we're gonna do one more segment. At 9:30 we're gonna actually talk about. Maybe I should have flip flopped those. We'll still
maybe
do that.
We do.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at a break. But 9:30 or maybe when we come back. Just about the trade deadline, because there was a tweet that came out today, and I posted it on Woodward Sports about Montez Sweat and his name and Chase Young and kind of what the Commanders are looking for him. Very, very interesting.
Let's talk about that.
It's actually really interesting what they're asking for the Commanders are. So let me tell you guys about Planet Fitness. It is the home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you will experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, full body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all of that for just $10 a month, no commitment, no matter where you are. There's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in the Metro Detroit area, and there are thousands worldwide. What a hiccup for Matt Broder.
That happened.
Wow.
Sounded like a puppy.
Tough puppy.
All right.
Hard
Planet
puppy.
Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Essential.
How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
When it comes to your pet, don't settle. You got to give your pet the best, and that means going to Premier Pet Supply because it's hands down Michigan's best pet store. They've been family owned and operated for over 30 years. They have 13 Metro Detroit locations and over 60 brands of food. Add that to the lowest prices and curbside home delivery. That's crazy. Premier Pet Supply. You can give your pet the best at www.premierpetsupply.com.
All right, we are back. Welcome back to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel, woodwardsports.com. It is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Hit that like button for us if you haven't already. My name is Booner. As always, co-host Matt Broder, Detroit Lions beat reporter.
Find your road.
Look at that. Broder drove his truck right through the studio.
Yeah.
I love this new back wall, by the way.
That's Brad Holmes driving through the other GMs.
I want to throw something out there real quick.
Or
Shout
Dwight
out to
Howard
Lucas.
driving through some dudes.
I had a parlay going on here. Mine 3 hit for the Pistons game. I'm waiting on a couple more from around the NBA. But
Booner,
Lucas,
don't jinx it.
Yeah, I'm not going to jinx mine. But I'm going to tell the one that Lucas texted us earlier today. Lucas texted us one, and pretty solid one. It was Asar Thompson, 6 rebounds, has 7 right now. Jaylen Duren, 8 rebounds, has 10. Cade Cunningham, 15 points, 21. Last leg here, plus 780. Shout out Lucas. The last one is Bam Adebayo to get 4 assists. He is currently sitting at 3. So Lucas is in the other room sweating right now.
You say $26 to win 2 something?
26 to win 235.
He boosted his by 100% though,
So it was
or
like
50%. So his is to win like
$1,700 plus $1,700.
$600.
So he's sweating over there. I'm sweating over here because I have the same bet. I'm sure a couple people in there have the same one. Everyone's riding it right now. Shout out to Lucas for that one. I'm going to be sweating bets all night because my parlay, I just have the last one was Luka Doncic, 6 rebounds.
Luka.
And that was like plus 600 as well. So I'm Luka, please. 6 rebounds, please.
There's a lot of sweat happening tonight.
There is. You know who's sweating?
Does he start with an M?
Starts with a B.
Booner.
Brad Holmes.
Brad Holmes. He ain't sweating. Everyone wanting to talk to Brad Holmes is sweating. They're going to say Montez.
Can we pivot a little bit? We'll come back to the trade deadline stuff.
Take me to your
I put some graphics and throughout this segment, Jaylen, I'm gonna throw some of those up though, but I don't know why I said it that way.
That was the most ADD comment of all time. I love it.
Fun fact too, when I was growing up, ADHD, I have ADD, ADHD, whatever it is. They tried to put me on so many medicines and different things growing up, like patches and stuff and like different medicines, and it was just like nothing worked. There was one time where they put me on something and I was like in the classroom like drooling, like yeah, and they were like, yeah, the teachers were like, hey, we've got to take him off whatever he was on there. So eventually I just had to, like, my freshman year of high school, I had a teacher, shout out, I think it was like Miss Cruciano. She's like, hey, you just have to learn how to deal with it, and you see me now. Shout out, look where I'm at.
Shout
got a
out,
degree,
Boone.
and I'm at a network, baby.
Football
Lions, baby. Let's go.
Look at me now.
All right, Detroit Lions offensive weapons. That is this next segment here. There is, I feel like, a cloud, and there has been, I feel like, since the offseason with these Lions weapons when it comes to this wide receiver room, where it's like, oh, Amon-Ra is not really a top 10 wide receiver. Josh Reynolds isn't really a good number 2 on a team. Khalif Raymond isn't really that guy. Sam, your tight ends, you never know what's happening. Rookie. Jahmyr Gibbs, rookie. David Montgomery's been David Montgomery.
But not a weapon. He's not considered a weapon.
No, but what I'm thinking here, Broder, I think that this wide receiver core might be one of the top. Like, you could put them next to some of the top guys around the league, and this is a legit. Like, I think it's just because it's the Detroit Lions, and they've never had like Kelvin Johnson, yes, but like other guys, it's like, yeah, it's just the Detroit Lions. It's the Lions. First graphic I want to pull up here. Shout out to Lucas for making this today. Amon-Ra St. Brown compared to Jamar Chase this season. Check this out.
6 games, 51 catches to 50, 557. That's it. One more. It's exactly the same.
But
Jamar Chase, you tell him, Booner.
There are people who say Jamar Chase is one of the best in the NFL, right up there with Justin Jefferson.
Usually people put him in the top 3.
Amon-Ra St. Brown gets they question if Amon-Ra St. Brown is a top 10 wide receiver. And he is up there putting up these numbers that Jamar Chase, what would you guys all say around the room? People say what, top 5, correct?
Yeah, top 5.
Top 5?
Yeah.
And he has those numbers with Amon-Ra St. Brown? So that's your 1 and 1, right? Mm-hmm. Let's go to number 2 here real quick. Josh Reynolds. Look to where they compare Josh Reynolds to this year. Calvin Ridley.
Ooh. 1, 3D4, 3 titties, 18.3. Wow. It's that first down number.
27. More yards, more touchdowns, more yards per game, more first downs. That's your 1 and 2 right now, Broder.
I'm betting on Josh Reynolds.
I'm taking that one.
Intended.
I'm taking that 1 2. Imagine that though. That 1 2. I'm taking that all day long. And there's people who actually want to question that Amon-Ra St. Brown's not top 10 and Josh Reynolds isn't a real number 2. Where are you at? Are we confident with that now?
Yeah, it's an underrated group. It's one of those, I think because Amon-Ra is your number 1, and I think he's a star. There's something about the way he plays doesn't scream star. Like when you think of star wide receivers, it's the speedy guys on the outside. It's the Tyreek Hills of the world. It's the Jamar Chases who can take the top off a defense. But it's why I love this team. Amon-Ra being the number 1. He's just Mr. Consistency. It's every single game you can find him 6, 7, 8, 10 times over the middle, semi deep, behind the line of scrimmage. Like you can do so much with him. I love that it's built. I love that they're built this way, but I don't think they get a lot of love because it doesn't scream at you like superstar, like that he's just going to dominate you. He does it with his physicality, with his route running, sort of the quieter things than just explosive. Jamar Chase has a 10-catch, 3-touchdown, 250-yard game. I know that was maybe a little too many yards for that example, but it's different. So I love that this team, when your number 2 could be Jamison Williams, who plays like a number 1, like Jamar Chase, a Tyreek Hill. He's got the speed to take the top off from anywhere on the field. I like that. It just hasn't all come together yet.
Yeah, and Shane Daniel put it here as well. Not many flashy plays, just puts up numbers.
Yeah, yes.
I think that's like extreme key because it's not just Josh Reynolds too that doesn't do. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Josh Reynolds. They're not flashy players. These other guys are like around the league, all flashy. They make these big plays. Justin Jefferson has these big breakout games. Jamar Jefferson will go put up 200 yards, and then maybe a couple other games he's lower. Both of them are extremely consistent, and they're not flashy, and they just get the job done.
Yeah. Would you? I know this might be next segment, but like, is wide receiver anything you're even considering in the trade deadline, or do you think it's not even worth it?
I don't even think it's worth it.
You'd rather give those reps to Antoine Green or Dylan Drummond? Maybe he plays more.
I was thinking that with Antoine Green. I was thinking when Marvin Jones gone, we tell me if I'm wrong. Anyone in the chat, like anyone listening, felt like Marvin Jones was a big time blocker for that offense.
Yeah, it's that reliability. A veteran wide receiver, he's not going to be as quick as Antoine Green anymore, but it's that reliability.
Yeah.
It's that trust that Jared Goff and Ben Johnson have that whether you're throwing him the ball, he's going to be in the right place or he's going to make the right blocks.
He's crisp receiver, like a veteran. I know he dropped a couple passes week 1, but like you saw when you needed him a couple times the last few weeks, he was 2 targets, 2 catches, 1 target, 1 catch, and every running play or kind of play off the edge, Marvin Jones is blocking his guy, and he's one of the guys up front making a huge block. Or an Amon-Ra catch, one of his big plays was because Marvin Jones was blocking.
So I do think that I don't know if they need to add a receiver, but I'm in the camp that I think they should. You think if Josh Reynolds, who is banged up, and he's kind of been banged up all year, if for whatever reason he can't play, for whatever reason we don't get what we think we're getting out of Jamison Williams for a couple weeks or the season, like you need another level of reliability. I love Khalif Raymond too. Like I would love to see him get more involved, but I'm sort of in the camp of going after, and his contract might be too much, but he's in a perfect tradable situation. Hunter Renfrow, we were talking about with Shift God, a player like that who is just like he's out of the offense in Las Vegas. I keep wanting to say Oakland. He's just not in that offense anymore with Josh McDaniels, but he's still that reliable route runner. He's tough. He's someone you can rely on. Him or like a Donovan Peoples-Jones from Cleveland.
That's a good one too. My thought process though with the running or wide receiver was if you had to pick, and we're going to talk about it in just a couple minutes about the trade deadline. If you had to pick, because Brad Holmes can't go out there and make 4, 5, 6. He can only make probably 1 or 2 moves realistically, and that's probably all he will do if he does. So it's like, all right, what are my top 5, top 3? Number 1 to me, it's going to be the D line.
Yes.
That's why I wanted to talk about this receiver depth, is because when you're talking about the trade deadline, you need to go get a D lineman. You need to go get a corner in case Jerry goes down again. You know, someone said in here you don't need to go bring a big-time running back in, but you do need some running back depth because both of your top 2 running backs have been getting hurt back and forth. So that's my top 3. And then 4, I probably would say either wide receiver or maybe add like a depth piece in the offensive line. Yeah. But that's like, to me, it's like the same with the offensive line is you still have guys. You have 5 dudes and you have 1 or 2 guys that have already stepped up. So you have 7 guys there that are reliable. On offense, if you end up losing a receiver and you're like, okay, what do we do? Think about this. Jahmyr Gibbs can go play in the slot.
That's what we hear.
You know, like we haven't seen that much yet. You haven't seen that much yet, but he can do it. So if I had to rank like what moves are they going to make, wide receivers a little lower, and it's just because of the stats that I showed you there, and kind of the depth a little bit more.
So D-line. You say secondary corner, but actually specifically corner. I'll be
running
specific
back,
with
which people it seemed like I got a little pushback in the chat about the running back.
I'm actually a little surprised that more people aren't all for adding to that running back room.
It's been an injury room.
Yeah, and I think it's going to continue to be I just don't think you can rely on David Montgomery, but I don't think you can rely on a running back to stay healthy for a playoff run. Like you need to have insurance at the running back position, and they're just so slim.
Too many,
they have too many guys who are out for the year. So
but you can't have too many like 3 solid running backs. Like teams have that.
Yeah,
especially in the playoffs, you're fine with that. So if you get a 3rd guy, that's good. But 4th, I think you go maybe receiver / O-line.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, but let me tell you about Feldman. Then we're going to come back and talk more trades. Feldman Chevrolet since 1996. Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience. It's called the Feldman Advantage, and with 18 locations, there will have to be a Feldman somewhere in your backyard. So visit FeldmanAuto.com to find the location nearest you and catch Woodward Sports live there at their Novi dealership every other Monday.
All right, let me tell you guys about Guardian Alarm. That is right. Guardian Alarm, customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians, they take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. That is 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian Alarm team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. That is technology backed by people. For the people. Your safety and security deserves technology that has been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. That is right here. 1-800-STAY-OUT. Call it.
How would you like to win not 1, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests, for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
For over 60 years, Fairway Packing has been providing Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, dry-aged beef, and Wagyu beef. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Just visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods. They got grab-and-go steaks and a ton of other meats for you, or grab some to go online at fairwaypacking.com.
All right, welcome back to the Woodward Sports Network. It is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Appreciate you guys. Look at Broder's over there petting a dog. I would like a dog. I need to get a dog. Fun fact, Flannel's dog is named after me.
Jake from State Farm?
Jake, yep. He named his dog after me. Shout out Flannel for that. I appreciate it.
Is your name? Oh.
My real name is
Jake?
Yep.
From State Farm?
From State Farm. It is indeed, baby. Hey, welcome back, though. Hit the like button if you guys haven't already.
Wear some khakis.
Let's get into this quick. We have a short segment here. Trade deadline, Broder.
Ooh.
This is a big one. I talked to Nick about this before the show a little bit. The biggest rumor that I heard today, about an hour or so before we got in the show, and can we throw that graphic up real quick, Jaylen? It was a tweet from Woodward Sports here.
I got you.
Montez Sweat. There it is. Reports are that it may take a second or a third round pick for a team to either trade for Chase Young or Montez Sweat per Jordan Schultz. That is the big question to me, is edge rusher is that number one position, right? And that's kind of the big thing that we need to, and you can take that down there, Jaylen, if you want, but that's the big thing we need to address here, in my opinion, is the defensive line edge rusher. The Washington Commanders are saying, hey, come take Chase Young or Montez Sweat for a second or a third round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Holmes should, as soon as he saw that tweet come from Jordan Schultz or Woodward Sports, he should have typed in that number to Washington, D.C. right away and said, hey, we'll take him. Give us Montez Sweat. Because right now, Montez Sweat, $11.5 million a year.
Not bad.
And guess what? 5.5 sacks right now. Montez Sweat, I think right there, and the heavyweights talked about it a little bit. Some people have spoken about it, is Chase Young, he's a first round round pick, correct?
Yeah,
you're really
number
first
3 overall.
Number 3 overall, was it?
He was 2 or 3.
They're gonna ask
2.
Number 2 overall. They're gonna ask for probably the second for him, and at the end of the day, you're probably gonna have to pay him the contract and kind of extend him for a lot if that happens. Montez Sweat, not the number 2 overall pick. He's a guy where this is the last year of his contract, but he's not on that next tier. You could bring a guy like Montez Sweat in for a third round pick and add to Aiden Hutchinson. Give Aiden Hutchinson his complimentary little piece on the other side.
He needs it.
You need someone like him. Chase Young, yes, would be a luxury. Yeah, I agree. But if you have to go get a Montez Sweat instead of Chase Young, I am perfectly fine with that. That is my pick there. Add to the depth of the defensive line. Go get Montez Sweat. Go get someone who can do that for you. That man in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons has 34.5 sacks. 5.5 right now, 8 last year, 5 before that, 9 and 7 in his rookie season. That's a guy you add to this team that complements Aiden Hutchinson a ton. And yes, Chase Young would be great, but that's 2 superstars to where you could have a great defensive line. But if you have to settle for a Montez Sweat, do it. I think he should be on the phone with the Commanders going after one of those 2 guys. That was the biggest news that came out today. Broder, a second or a third round pick.
As long as you're not giving up a first, I'm with you.
Pull the trigger.
Pull it.
Oh my gosh! When I saw that come through, I thought it said second and I had to go look. I tweeted that. I had to go look and make sure. I was like, "Are you sure that's not and?"
Yeah, per sources.
And it says or, so per sources.
Yeah, no, I'm with Dave Jaremba in the chat. It says give both and then add Patrick Surtain. Let's do it, all of it.
Give him a second and a third for both.
I know that's not real. If you could do that, that's a move you make. You'll have to decide who you don't re-sign after the season. But if you can have those 2 rushers,
yeah.
Although the market for this position isn't as strong as the edge rushing position or a defensive end position, I would prefer to attack the defensive tackle, attack the interior first. But
okay, now
there are less difference makers available at DT than there are at edge. There are 2. There are actually 3.
Can I go back at you at that real quick? I think Benito Jones and Bugs have been pretty decent inside.
They've been decent, but not decent enough getting pressure on the quarterback. They're not getting to the quarterback.
That's fair, but when you look at the other edge, who was that number 1 other edge outside of Hutch?
Charles Harris.
And what was he last Sunday?
Healthy scratch.
Point proven to me.
Yeah.
To where if you have your other number 1 guy on the other side and he's in healthy scratch, that is an issue. Your number 2 edge rusher that you had in camp should not be in healthy scratch. So now you're on the commish, which I love John Kaminsky, but if you're trying to put together a legit defensive line, if Charles Harris was supposed to be that guy and he's a healthy scratch, what are we doing?
You know who else was a healthy scratch?
What's happening?
Levi Onwuzurike, who you were relying upon to get pressure up the middle from the defensive tackle position.
I think it's a must to get an edge rusher. It worried me a little bit. I was looking at some articles and they had who some of these players will get drafted, or what teams are kind of interested in some of these players, these edge rushers. No one was putting the Detroit Lions in them.
Really?
None of these articles, which made me worried that there's not talk around the league about it.
No one's paying attention to the Lions. But you can also offer up
Montez Sweat.
You can offer up. So some people might see value in one or both of the Aquara brothers if you want to talk about giving players back in return. If that maybe you can sacrifice a third and a player. Mm-hmm. You give them the Hawkinson 3rd round pick or the pick that you got from Minnesota. But yeah, I just don't want to give up that first. Although if you're expecting to be a good team, all these picks are going to be at the end of their rounds. I do just think there's value in having, even at the end of the first round, we saw teams wanting to trade up and get that fifth-year option on their rookies. It's a valuable piece to keep that first rounder, whether it's 25 or 30.
And to Nick's point, too, earlier, is Brad's been so good at late-round picks where if you give up a second or a third for a guy like Montez Sweat, I think that's worth it because you already know what Montez Sweat is. And, you're going to have to maybe pay him. But I think you could find I think you could find a way to maybe pay him and Hutch, and the Eagles find a way to do it. I think the Lions can. Real quick before we go to break, I'm just going to tell you guys quickly about the Lions pregame show. Jaylen, you don't even have to pull that up. I'll just tell you guys Monday it will be Jeff Iafrady. It will be Neil Rule, actually. I think it's Jeff, Neil Rule, and me in the match chair. Make sure you guys tune in. I believe that will be at 6:30. I'm gonna actually. They sent us the schedule today. Tomorrow, I'll make sure I write that down and I have that updated for you guys. But that will be Monday. That's a packed crew. Jeff, Neil, and me. I'm ready for it. Last time I was a little mediator. Might have to do that again.
Remember, Booner never loses being out. Go at him.
Oh, dude, never loses.
Don't let him get comfortable.
Promise you I won't.
Yeah, well, if you, I was going to try to make a transition, but when buying or selling in real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. So sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement at any time for any reason with no penalty? Something just happened. That's exactly what you can do with Mark White & Associates minute-by-minute listing agreement. Try Mark White's risk-free minute-to-minute listing agreement today. So if you're looking to buy or sell real estate, visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242. Visit markwhitesells.com where flexibility meets success.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel. Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Just in time for football. Glorious. Cannabis is dropping a new ice water bubble hash infused pre-roll called Honolulu Blue. It smells so good it's like the whiff of the first playoff win in 31 years. It's a gassy, aggressive strain named in the honor of Detroit football. If you haven't had one of these ice water pre-rolls, you're missing out. So smooth. Find them at Dispo Dispensary for 25% off. Check us out online at www.gloriouscanna.com.
Glorious.
All right, welcome back. It is a glorious night.
Glorious.
Yeah, like that. It is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Appreciate you guys tuning in. That back wall, it's like a little wave back there.
I like that
wave.
Planet Fitness one.
Yeah, that's a nice one. I didn't realize that. That might be a new one.
I actually like all of our sponsors' graphics.
Beautiful. They're all beautiful. Hey, make sure you guys hit that like button. Let's get over 100 likes before the end of these next two segments here. We're on the final stretch here. Make sure you guys hit it. Tell a friend about the show. Pistons right now, I believe, actually, it is a 5-point game. They've came back. Nick, do you want to give us a little update on some stats? I see it's 94-89 with about 5 minutes left.
Yes, sir. I believe the lead got down to 18 points. Pistons have cut it to 5. Cade Cunningham, 25 points, 8 assists. Jaylen Duren, seizing hardcore at the comeback in the second half with 15 and 12. These Pistons are roaring back, and I am here for it. No give up in them in the first game down in South Beach. Let's do this. Let's finish it off. How about the 30-pointer from Cade, too?
All right, thank you, Nick, for the update in Miami. We appreciate that. We're back to the studio now.
That window is so sick. I love the
like
nighttime.
that. We should always have that.
You will. This is the new board. It reflects.
True. Yeah, okay.
That's
Good point.
Yeah, but it changes each time, so you have a new background each time.
It is pretty sweet.
See?
You don't get one.
No, but I get my two people here.
Planet Fitness.
See, I'm in reverse. It's like a mirror.
Real quick,
Booner.
I do. I had a question. Me and you were talking on the break here. If you could, this kind of goes back to this Lions trade deadline thing. If you were Brad Holmes right now and you had one phone call and you knew when they picked up that it was like, and realistic too.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not like pull Myles Garrett out.
Right.
But if you had one realistic phone call and it was like once you get done with that phone call, you're guaranteed to get that player and you're locked in. Who is that one player right now that you're going to say, locked in, getting him?
And this is like it. Getting him at the sort of expected market value.
Yeah, just like kind of with the reports we saw with those two guys.
Oh, that's tough because like I really want to say Patrick Surtain, but I don't want to give up a first round pick. But going after an elite cornerback, I think back they would have taken Devon Witherspoon at 6 if he was there. Devon Witherspoon's playing really really good.
He's the number one graded
cornerback.
In the league.
I hope Jerry Jacobs is healthy, but I think they need reinforcements there. It'd probably be Surtain or, man, I want to say defensive tackle too. I know, who would I say? DJ Jones from the Broncos is available, but there's not too many that really excite me. I wish we went and paid Quinn Williams this offseason.
Gosh.
But no, I'll go with Patrick Surtain because I think it's, I guess maybe I just convinced it's not the biggest need. I think they need defensive line. But if you can get a difference maker like that, that's what I'll go with.
I kind of like that. We haven't even talked about Patrick Surtain on this.
Yeah, because I don't think it's going to I think it's a little too much. It's going to cost a first and something else.
Yeah, there's a Denver beat reporter that he has like inside information that he always releases. It's just kind of like a normal beat reporter here in Detroit.
Yeah.
But he reached out. He was mad at us at Woodward. And he commented. We put something out about Patrick Surtain, and he commented like he's not available. They're not getting rid of him. And he was like very confident. I took a screenshot just in case Patrick Surtain does get moved. I'm going to be the first one to comment back on that.
It does seem like he's the Max Crosby of that team. Like they're getting rid of everyone, but like he might be their piece that they.
Yeah, but if you're getting rid of everyone, it's like why not go get if you're in that total rebuild, why not do it?
But the way the game's moving, like it's a more wide receiver, it's a more passing friendly league. Having elite cornerbacks to take out one player, take out half the field. We saw the difference Sauce Gardner could make for the Jets defense last year.
What about
special?
So I would think my lock would be I said what my number one was like position wise. What was D line, kind of that edge rusher. I'm just gonna keep going back to this Washington Commanders thing. Like if I'm Brad Holmes, like that's
exciting.
As soon as I see that tweet like come through Woodward Sports Twitter, I'm literally going. I have to call them right away. I'm calling them, whether it's Montez or it's Chase Young. Mm-hmm. I would personally, I know a lot of people kind of, and I already said it kind of with the contract and different things with Montez Sweat. But hey, if we're in a win now situation, go get Chase Young because he is right up there with Aiden Hutchinson. Like he's one of the when he's at his best, he's one of the best in the NFL. If you have Aiden Hutchinson and Chase Young on one side and the other, no one is stopping you.
Yeah.
You can go up against the Eagles' offensive line, and I promise you're coming out of that game with each of them at least having a sack.
And that's the thing, like if you're factoring in, you think you're gonna be going up against the Eagles and the 49ers, some elite offensive lines. You gotta match that with your defensive line. And as much as I just said that the game is becoming more pass friendly and wide receivers, and so you need a cornerback, it's also why you need that pressure up the middle or off the edge. You need to get to the quarterback, make it harder on them. So I mean Chase Young will be great.
The only issue with Chase Young, I think you can argue, is like has been injuries the last couple of years. But even with then, if he's playing and he's healthy on a team like this, especially like the way Aaron Glenn's been, and with the culture in Detroit, Chase Young, this would be his spot with Aiden Hutchinson. Like that would be elite. Michigan on one side, Ohio State on the other. Fans wouldn't know what to do.
I think I wrote an article back in the day about Chase Young possibly coming to the Lions. I'll have to look for it for the next day.
Oh, okay. How about that?
Sheets, hey?
You're ahead of it. All right, let's go to break. When we come back, we will hit mailbag for about 10 minutes here. And as mailbag will be on, I'm pretty sure it'll be the end of this Pistons game as well. We still have the whole crew over there watching the game. So start dropping the questions now if you haven't already. Start throwing them in there. Nick, tell us about the Academy of Warren, baby.
And at the Academy of Warren, they have a brand new state-of-the-art Sports Dome field house that has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, and soccer field. Also can be used for 7-on-7 football. With grades K through 8 that features AM and PM latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, and K-8 athletics. They are now accepting new enrollment. Go to theacademyofwarren.net.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
All right, let's talk about Outdoor Equipment Co. It is the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. It is Michigan grown, family owned. They have everything: bad boy mowers, tractors, steel handhelds, even weed whippers, Liberty trailers, generic generators, snow X plows and salters. They literally have it all. Buy it, rent it, 0% financing, delivery right to your doorstep. That is OutdoorEquipCo.com. All right, welcome back to the final segment here of Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Smack the like button and also drop your mailbag questions. We have a mailbag now. Broder, do you have any? You start us off and hit that like button too. Let's get over 100 here. We're 30 away. We've got the people in here to do it.
Yeah, it was a quick one. I think it's an easy one, but I just want to get the sense of maybe it's not as easy as I think. But Eric Burrow asks, what's bigger for Detroit? Winning the World Series or winning a Super Bowl?
Super Bowl.
Yeah. That's what I would say too.
World Series, they've been to the World Series, even just like getting to a Super Bowl. They had, like,
when was their last World Series win? Trivia.
86, 3, 2, 4.
Yep, 84.
I was close.
1984.
I knew it's in the 80s.
October 14th. Yeah.
Pistons, 4-point game now, 2 minutes to go. What else do we have here? Mailbag. Knowing Brad Holmes' history, what one big move does he make at the trade deadline? I just think it's like we were saying before. I think it's a DN. I think that's like a must.
What just happened?
Oh, the boys are going crazy right now.
Pistons within one. Cade 3 ball down 1, 30-point game in his
timeout Miami.
Debut. Let's go. Let's go Pistons.
He shot that with so much confidence.
Nobody. At Booner Sports Show, at Broder. I think we make a trade, but it is not a huge one. If Brad Holmes makes a trade, but they're small, would you be upset? Also, what do we spam the morning show with? First question. If it's small, again, I'm just going to stick with the defensive line. I don't care. Like, if it's a small piece.
Yeah, are you okay with it if he makes
if it's a small move? Yeah, if he feels like that, that helps kind of build the team up. I'm okay with that for sure.
I'm with you. I just want to see something. I just want to see a little bit of change.
Yeah, me too. Spam morning Woodward show. Let's spam them with BNL.
Oh, yeah.
Brand new lines, but really they're not going to know it's Booner Never Loses.
Yes, BNL. I'm going to put it in the chat so you can copy and paste it for the entire night. Keep it on your clipboard.
There was another one here I had.
Favorite candy? I'm a Reese's guy. Like Reese's Cup. I've been a little bit addicted. I also like Bunch of Crunch. Bunch of Crunch is underrated candy.
It is. It's good.
It's delicious.
I love Kit Kats, though. Kit Kats are so good, dude. Oh, actually, my favorite candy, if I'm going to a gas station or a movie theater, peanut M&Ms.
Those are always great.
Peanut
I love
M&Ms.
the peanut M&Ms. I got some shade yesterday from getting an Almond Joy from one of the Lady Jane's shows. They didn't want it. I like Almond Joys a lot.
This coconut?
It's up there with the coconut.
I got an Almond. They gave me an Almond Joy. They told me to give it to someone that I don't like. And then I threw it to Broder.
Give them to me all day long. They can't just foul out.
I think 100 Grand are underrated. I think whatchamacallits are underrated. We should have
I've never had that. We should do. Let's do
over underrated candy draft.
Candy draft. We don't want to take it from BDE, but there are a lot of places, or a lot of shows around.
They don't just get to do the drafts. They don't get to.
There's a lot of shows around the country that do drafts. Let's just be honest here.
Let us know what type of draft do you want us to do.
We don't want to take it from them, but there's a lot of places that do it.
Jonathan Anton, Broder, what about trading for Brown? Hollywood Marquise Brown from Arizona. I'm not a fan.
They do what they do.
He's got wheels. It seems like he's hurt all the time. And I have heard he's not the best teammate. He's an eye guy. I would actually prefer Rondale Moore from the Cardinals. I don't know if they're willing to give him up, but I like him. He's a little smaller, but he runs phenomenal routes. I really like Rondale Moore.
This one here, Tyler. How do you guys see the Francis versus Fury fight going? Tyson Fury wins it. Tyson Fury is like one of the greatest ever.
I don't have much knowledge. Is it UFC or MMA?
Tyson Fury is never going to lose.
It's boxing. I think Francis Ngannou, I think he's going from UFC to fight. I could be completely wrong with that. I don't know. I'm not a big fighting guy either, but I'm taking Tyson Fury no matter what. That man is different. He's crazy. It's like he's different.
Wow. Would you rather? This is from Eric Burrow again. Mailbag number 2. Would you rather be a legendary coach or a legendary player?
Player.
Being a legendary coach would be fun, but you got to be a legendary player.
There's actually not a lot of legendary coaches. There's more legendary players.
That's true.
You could be in a little, but I still would go player.
Coaches are getting paid now too.
I'd rather be Tom Brady than be like a coach or something.
So you rather be Tom than be Bill?
Yeah.
Yes.
100%. Not even close.
Yeah.
But would you rather be Dan or Jared Goff? Dan Campbell or Jared Goff?
Dan Campbell.
Yeah, see, he's an outlier.
Yeah, Dan's different, man.
Or Kyle Shanahan. That's a good-looking dude.
Let's see. Next one here. Freddie, mailbag. When the Lions win the Super Bowl, are you satisfied with one, or will you be greedy for multiple Lombardi trophies? I've said this all along. I feel like the Detroit Lions aren't just building like a one-year success. They're building something more long-term, like the Warrior, like that kind of long-term franchise like the 49ers have built, like the Chiefs have built, the Patriots had. I think that's the way that Brad Holmes is looking at this, because if he wasn't, he would have already sold the house for big-time players and brought like they did in LA.
Burn the film, sell the house. How about this from Sly Cooper 04? I had to find it a little bit. Mailbag. If Killian improves to say 14th and 5 to 7 assists a night, so maybe 14th points per game and 5 to 7 assists a night, what do you think is his max value in a trade? Straight up Killian 4.
What was the stat line?
14 points, 5 to 7 assists.
Yeah, that won't happen.
What
does he have tonight? Hypothetical.
It's tough before the season starts.
10-3 right now.
You're probably getting a young player in I don't think you can get a first-round draft pick. You might get a second rounder
like
and a young player,
like a vet.
I don't know. You're taking on a contract.
Yeah,
I think if he proves he can average 14, 15.
The worry is though,
no man,
if he doesn't produce, like if he's next. If the worry is that you can't trade him because he's so bad.
Hey, we got update. We got it's 102, 103. About 3 seconds left.
You guys are gonna have to do this play-by-play when it comes down to it.
All right.
It's coming out of the break.
Once it comes out of the break, we'll do
ball
it.
down 1 in Miami to open the year. Let's go, boys. Let's win this game.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Nope.
IT Hip said mailbag. Dan Campbell stated he wants to be very careful about bringing just somebody in, as he doesn't want to impact the chemistry of the team. So maybe they don't make a move at all. I do think they're going to make a move. I just think they're going to be extra careful about bringing in like a Frank Clark kind of guy. Maybe it's even Marquise Brown. I don't want to slander him. I don't know him like I know Frank.
That was what I took out of that was Dan Camp. Like they're being careful about who they're bringing in. They're not going to bring just anyone in. That's how I took the statement, and I kind of like it because there's teams that will just bring anyone in to win, and they obviously won't. So.
Here we go. Pistons 3-12, record in 5-point games last season. Pistons 30th. The Heat were 4th.
So dead last.
That's a well-coached. Dead last. That's a well-coached team.
Let's go,
Pistons
boys.
were bad last year, but now we got Cade out on the court. Cade's clutch. You forget how clutch Cade was. Knock on wood.
Are we in their zone too? Let's go, boys.
Cade,
Broder and
Joe
Booner
Harris
on the call with it.
What was that?
Oh, don't let Cade game this
Broder and
morning.
Booner on the call.
Who's that? We got Cade, Joe Harris, Jaylen Duren out on the court.
Alec Burks out there.
Let's
Killian.
go, boys. All right, hey, predictions, quick. Where's it go? Has
Is
to
that
go to
virtual?
Cade, right?
You have to be Cade.
If it doesn't go to Cade
or JD on a oop, if it's there.
Who's inbounding the ball here?
Cade's going to try to get the ball, get to the bucket, and he's going to look for Burks on the outside.
You know damn well they're not
Duren
going to
up
call
top.
the foul. You know it already. They're not going to call the foul.
You go to the rim.
Yeah.
You go to the rim and try and get a foul.
Chat, who takes the last shot? Is it going to be Cade, Alec Burks, Jaylen Duren, Killian, or Joe Harris? Yeah, they're going to put Burke and Harris in the corners.
Who's taking
Killian's inbound on the wall.
All right, who's got the call?
I like that. Who's got the call?
Booner, you want it?
Broder.
Can Cade
I'll
get
do.
the ball?
I don't know if I'm good. That Killian's got the ball. He's
We're
passing
good.
it in to
Cade's got it. 2 seconds.
He's gonna pull up for three.
For 3. Oh, he misses it. Top of the key 3. About
off the rim.
2 feet outside the 3-point line. That's all right.
That is a perennial playoff team. The Pistons just took it. 102-103. They had a comeback. They showed resilience. We got to give them props for this game. We obviously want to see a win. Miami's a good team. They're well coached.
Cade Cunningham, 30 points, 9 assists tonight.
You can't get the ball going the wrong direction at 2.5 seconds left.
No, yeah, that was tough. I've as a coach, at least college basketball, I've always say just go. Like, if it's 3-4 seconds and you're only down 1, try to go to the rim and make the ref call a foul to get free throws to end the game. I've always had that. But the big fellas, Jaylen Duren, 17 points, 14 rebounds. Isaiah Stewart, 14 points and 14 rebounds. The big fellas stepped up tonight. All right, hey, we appreciate you guys all tuning in. Another night of Woodward Nights. Make sure you guys go check out Morning Woodward Show tomorrow, 8 a.m. All the shows following. And then tomorrow night, we'll be back 8 to 10 p.m. We'll be breaking down the Las Vegas Raiders a little bit more tomorrow. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys tomorrow, 8 p.m.
My G's.